Hi guys, good morning. If you're watching this video, my name is Ariante. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Today's video I wanted to make is about gaslighting because gaslighting is such a big thing that we see today, and I don't think that a lot of us really know fully to a detailed extent what gaslighting is, but this has been a big thing for me, and also like gaining back my mental strength and power, healing through being in an abusive relationship. And so I wanted to make this video because gaslighting is something that we really don't even notice when we are being gaslit. It makes us question ourselves to an extent that we wouldn't even notice that a person is doing this to us. So pretty much gaslighting is when a person uses manipulative techniques to make you question your own reality or perception of the world. And it's scary because it gets you to a point where you're questioning everything so much that you don't even know who you are or what you think or what you believe anymore, and it's very dangerous. And so the term gaslighting, I just learned this, so I thought I'd share it. It came from a movie called Gaslight, where a woman, I guess her aunt died. So her aunt was a famous opera singer and she died. And so she was training to become an opera singer as well under her aunt, who was very famous, very rich. And so she met a man and ended up falling in love with him. But this guy knew that, she had this inheritance from her rich aunt, who was this famous singer. So pretty much, and I could be wrong on the exact details because I haven't watched the movie, but pretty much as the story goes, he would continue to manipulate things in the house. So he would change the gas on the lighting so that the lights would be dim or brighter to confuse her. He would also do other things like make different noises and stuff to make her question her own sanity. And the point of this all was for her to question her sanity to an extent that he could make her crazy enough to put her into an insane asylum so that way he can get her inheritance. So he was manipulating her so extremely to the point that she didn't know what she thought or believed anymore. She would go crazy, or what she perceived as crazy because it's really happening, but she would go into a psych ward pretty much, and so he would get her money. So he didn't really love her, he just wanted to control her so that way he could get what he wanted from her. And so that is such a good way of coming up with the name for this word, because that's exactly what it is. It's when a person is making you question yourself so much for the sake of getting what they want from you, or you not leaving their control over you. And so there are plenty of ways that a person does gaslight us. So one of the ways is to simply lie or deny that what they even did wrong happened. So if they can deny it, even if you have proof, if you don't have tangible proof, you just have something you saw or something you heard or something you know, they can question that it ever even happened. So that way you're questioning it, and you'll end up questioning if you really saw what you saw. Another big one is they can discredit you. One of the biggest things for me is my ex would always call me childish, always. And it would make me question my own belief if I was having a mature thought or if I was immature, because he was a lot older than me, I was a lot younger. And of course there is some growth differences in age, but to question a person's childishness or maturity to an extent that they question themselves, that is gaslighting. Or another way to discredit you is to use other opinions, like everyone thinks this way about you, or I don't have this issue with no one but you, but for some reason you're this way. So that way it discredits your own self-worth or self-importance inside of yourself. Another way that a person gaslights you is to use compassionate words. And this one is really manipulative, and you barely could even tell that it's happening, because their response would be something like, I love you, I would never do that, or I love you, or I think you're so beautiful, I can never do this or that. So they're trying to add their love in for you as a reason why they didn't do what they did, but never fully, they might slightly deny, but never fully saying, I never did this. Because what they're trying to do is highlight their love for you so that you can feel their love for you. It's going to be what you need to hear. You love this person, you want to believe them, so it's going to be what you need to hear, and it's going to make you question if there's even any validity to what you're saying. And then now you're like, oh, I'm crazy, he would never do this, you're right. Because when you really love someone, part of you questions if they would even do anything wrong in the first point. Like, you love that person, you think of them being trustworthy whole individuals, that's why you're with them, or else you wouldn't be with them. So then the other thing, another way is to shift blame. So shifting blame is pretty much, no, I would never cheat. Why would I do that? Are you cheating? Is that why you're saying that? So then if you could start questioning if you're like, now you want to prove to them that you're not cheating. So now it just throws off the whole conversation or what you're talking about. And this is just saying that it is cheating. Like, gaslighting can happen in any situation, any type of relationship, even friendship. So I'm just using this as an example because this is a big one. Oh, well, you don't trust me. It must be because you're cheating, or it must be because you're untrustworthy. Now you get so twisted on point of conversation that now you're trying to prove that you're trustworthy as opposed to talking about the issue or the situation at hand. And it just pretty much shifts the whole thing and affects the whole conversation. So then another thing to do is to distract the person. And to distract the person, they can either say, I don't know what you're talking about. If someone says, I don't know what you're talking about, it's going to instantly, as soon as you hear those words, it's going to make you dive back to the beginning of your conversation, question where you're going with the whole thing, have to rethink through your whole point, and it's going to throw off the whole thing. So there might be a chance that that person is looking for clarity, but also you should consider the person and what all else is happening in that relationship dynamic. And if this is a situation where they're saying that constantly and it makes you question what you're saying, if there's validity to what you're saying, and if that is true, like, you don't understand what I'm saying, like, what I'm saying doesn't make sense at all. That's pretty much what the question makes you consider. Is what I'm saying not making sense at all? And then another way is to trivialize. If I can trivialize you and say that you're crazy or overreacting, us as people, we naturally want harmony. So we naturally don't want to argue, even if we're in abusive or toxic relationships. That's the whole key to arguments and then peace, and then arguments and then peace, because the piece of us that wants peace, when we get into arguments, we're going to pray and hope for that peace to come back again. And then when it comes back again, we sit there comfortably. And then when the argument comes again, we just get back to wanting that peace. And that's how you get in that abusive cycle. So to trivialize you is to call you crazy or say that you're overreacting. Because if I can make you think that you're crazy or you're overreacting, it's going to make you think that you're tripping, like, oh, I'm tripping, I'm not going to talk about this no more, maybe I should stop bringing this up, maybe I really am going crazy, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm reading things wrong, maybe I'm saying things wrong. So now my feelings are so minimalized because I don't want to seem crazy, I don't want to seem like I'm just bringing problems or issues, but really inside of me, I know that there's something wrong. And then another huge one, this is so huge, is rewriting history. Rewriting history. If a person continually questions your memory or is adding in details that you don't remember or saying that you said things that you didn't say, that is so, this has been my worst one. It's got to a point where, I've had kids, so after having kids, your memory does get very affected because of your mothering, the way your brain is wired. It's a very real thing, but when you have someone that's constantly questioning your memory, or if you remember things, it starts to make you question your own memory. Like, is my memory this bad? Oh my goodness, what's wrong? Like, it's like as if you have Alzheimer's, except you know what you know what you experienced, you know what you've seen. But if this person can consistently keep making you question your own memory and recollection of what happened because they're adding things in or taking things away, you will start, especially if you love and believe this person, you will start to question your own memory and your own belief system and your own whole view of the world and how it happens. And once you get into that cycle, into that constant questioning of yourself and break your own sense of self, it gets to a point where that person can tell you anything they want. You're going to do whatever they want you to do. You're going to, because now you're relying on this person to tell you the truth because you don't even believe your own truth. You can't believe your own truth anymore. And so that leads me into how gaslighting changes you as a person. If you are being gaslit regularly, you question your own mental space and peace. You question your own self-worth and perceptions. You get confused. You feel a state of confusion all the time. You get depressed because when this is happening in your very close loving relationships, it starts to make you question all your relationships and all your interactions with everybody around you. And when you get to that place, your sense of self is just broken. You lose that trust in your higher self, your lower self, yourself in general. You lose trust for yourself. And so it's just like love. You're leaving yourself in hopes to love another person. And when you stop believing yourself in totality, you completely lose that ability to love yourself. And so once you don't love yourself anymore, you are just lost and incomplete and broken, or you perceive yourself to be that way. And if you can perceive yourself to be that way, that person can have control over you forever, get you to do what they want you to do, even if that's something as simple as staying around. Gaslighting can happen in any relationship. It can be in your relationship with your partner. It can be in a friendship. If that friend just wants you around, wants you to follow them, for some reason they could just need you to validate themselves. So they need to stay in complete control of you, because if they can control you, they feel needed in life. And it doesn't always happen maliciously, but people's innate need to control, to feel like they are surviving or connecting to the world, will have them trying to control a person without even loving that person wholly, because they just need that person to love them so that they feel complete and whole. And so if you do get into this place where you're constantly questioning yourself, sometimes it's time to just fast and let some things go. And I talk about fasting a lot because fasting is so important for us to let go of everything that we think we need and come into terms with ourselves and what we need inside of ourselves, or what we don't need. So it doesn't have to be food. I can fast from the relationships that are confusing me. If I have a friendship that I feel good when I'm with this person, but when I'm away, I'm questioning things or concerned or feeling broken or hurt, I probably need to take a break or space from that person, or even leave that person alone in totality, because I need to come to terms with what's happening into me and find my own voice or my own worth and what I'm saying or what I think or what I believe. Another thing is just being away from everything, being away from the world, so I can sit with myself and find trust inside of me again, because I need trust inside of me to trust my own intuition, trust God, trust the universe, trust my spirit guides, trust whoever I believe is inside of me helping me, trust my higher self, trust God in general. Whoever my idea of God is, Allah, whoever, I need to develop that trust that I know my intuition is not leading me astray, and I can build trust and love inside of myself again and start to love myself again. And so I wanted to make this video because gaslighting is so dangerous. It's so dangerous to you, especially once you lose your sense of identity. It took me forever. A quick short story, even though my video is kind of already long, but I was in an abusive relationship, and the crazy part is I never understood that I was getting abused until my therapist told me, "You are a battered woman." Long story short, there was a day I had a gun to my head. That's as much detail as I'll go into about it, but there was a day I had a gun to my head, and I had therapy the next day, and I went into therapy, and I was talking to my therapist about it, and she said, "Listen, if you don't go to the cops, I will have to, because what you don't understand is you are a battered woman, and so there are things that you're not going to feel or know, and so it is my responsibility to protect you in the right that you can't protect yourself, because if something happens to you, with me being your therapist and knowing the responsibility lies on me." And so I did some research in the battered woman syndrome, and I'll make another video on that because it's so important. But pretty much being a battered woman and having battered woman syndrome is that you get so used to the abuse that you don't even know that you're being abused. It starts off so slow and gets so intense that you have no idea that you're even in an abusive relationship. Literally, I had a gun to my head and still questioning if I was in an abusive relationship. That sounds absolutely crazy. And it says that a woman cannot gain full control of her life even after leaving an abusive relationship until she gains control and trust back in her own mind. And the way I came into question about my whole sanity is that I was in a situation where I was being gaslit so much that I didn't even know what I believed anymore. I had no idea. And it took me, I'm a year out, it took me up until now to fully say I'm getting to a point where I understand what I think and don't think anymore. And I mean, it sounds embarrassing to say, but this is real life. And I know that there are women or men in abusive relationships that are going through this same thing. And it gets so dangerous that you can get to a point of having a gun to your head and not even understand that you can die, or that you will die, or that this person could really hurt you, because that's how abused and broken you have been inside of your mind. And I'll leave you with one final thought, that you cannot heal in the same place you hurt. So if you keep running back to the same situation and running back, chances are that you are being hurt in that place and continually being hurt, and probably gaslit, because you might not even understand that this situation is hurting you as bad as it does. And it's because you are questioning your own sanity to a point that you are insane. You are doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping for a different result, because you love this person and they're so manipulative to you that you think that they genuinely love you and are here for you, and they don't. They want you to stay. They need you to stay, and that is simply it. They can't be alone, so they need you to be there. And so please, if you are in a situation where you are being hurt, understand that you need to separate to heal, not keep going back to the same situation. It is raining today, and I take it that that's for a reason. If you watch my videos, you know how I always end them. If it's sunny, I hope you enjoy the sun. If it's raining, I hope you understand that the rain comes to nourish the soil. All this pain comes so that you can grow flowers in your garden. So I hope you are letting go of things that don't serve you and moving into places of peace and happiness and self-worth, where you are loving yourself wholly and developing trust within yourself, that you can trust your higher self, your God, and find peace inside of you. So I love you, and I hope you have a great day.